with the First Alert Radar Network. First just got faster. Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Well, that finish line is still just a little farther down the road. We're going to tell you when the I-20 Savannah River Bridge project should finally wrap up. Good evening. I'm Richard Rogers.
And I'm Zana Halliburton. First, another wave of storms pushing through our area tonight.
The radar network has been active all afternoon. Let's send things right over to your First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Riley Hale, timing out the impact for us.
Yeah, guys, we're still looking at this in the full forecast in just a bit.
Thank you, Riley. Giving you a live look now at the state line, a scene we've seen so many times before, and every day we inch one step closer to ending this traffic nightmare for that new Savannah River Bridge project. Back in May, we told you construction was entering the final stretch. So, where does work stand today? Your Hallie Turner live for us near the state line. So, Hallie, when are they expected to wrap this big project up?
Well, Richard, now it's looking like this fall. I was out with GDOT crews earlier to give you a closer look at where this massive road project stands, and they're setting their eyes on the new finish line.
We've been driving in the Orange Sea for nearly 5 years, but GDOT says it's the price we pay for progress.
Construction is hard. You know, they're doing this under live traffic. It'd be great if we could just close everything down and get it built quickly and weather was perfect every day, but that's not how it is in the field. But sometimes delays do happen. Everything's not always sunny.
The project has faced every delay, starting with COVID and supply chain issues to weather and recently some contract penalties.
Things have gone on a little bit longer than we would have liked it, but there are mechanisms in the contract that we work with that contract partner to hold them accountable through financial penalties. So that's currently being assessed. There's ongoing negotiations to finalize that process.
Despite the unplanned delays, GDOT says they're still within the original $73 million budget.
We've also been able to deliver some new infrastructure through some of the stage shifts we've done the last 2 years. So all the major bridge work is complete, both in the Augusta Canal and the Savannah River. All the concrete and the medium barrier wall is complete on the Georgia side.
And their sights are set on the finish line.
Majority of the focus these next 2 months, where we hope to get everything done, is on the South Carolina side, finalizing that medium barrier and also the roadway. So that is the big push the next few weeks to get all 3 lanes open to traffic in both directions.
Again, the official end date they're looking at is late September, early October. GDOT says there will still be some minor work left after those roads open back up, like road signs, cleanup, and corrective work striping for drivers. You're looking at this fall before all 6 lanes open up.
A wider, safer I-20. Hallie, it's a project we've been watching a long, long time. Thanks for that update there from right alongside a busy interstate.
New information tonight about a child cruelty case in Richmond County. These are photos of 2-year-old Rashawn Roberts that was shared by family. The coroner says the child died Friday night at the hospital. Deputies say last Wednesday, firefighters were called to the Cross Street Court and found the child unresponsive and a woman performing CPR. She told them she left the little boy in the bathtub for about 10 minutes, but firefighters found the child to be dry, and the woman also told them the child was on the couch with her when she noticed he was unresponsive. Deputies arrested 20-year-old Denasia McClennan for child cruelty in the first degree last week. When deputies found the child's mom at the hospital, she told deputies that she let a woman take care of her child and got a call from her that her child was in the hospital. Right now, it's not clear if the woman at the apartment, the caregiver, and McClennan are the same person.
We also have new information from SLED about the shooting last week near an Aiken County elementary school. Last Thursday, deputies responded to calls about a suspicious man acting erratically in the street near J.D. Lever Elementary. Deputies say when they approached the man, a fight broke out. SLED says deputies used tasers on the man. They did not have any effect on him. The release says the fight continued and deputies shot the man. He was then taken to a hospital where he is still recovering. The deputy was also checked out at the hospital for injuries he got during the fight.
As Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale just mentioned earlier in the show, more storms are in the area that could bring some lightning and flash flooding impacts with them.
And you know, this time last week, the Savannah River saw low levels even with all this rain, and there's a good reason. Augusta Utilities says the cause was a door issue over the Locken Dam after lightning struck a power line. If it happened once, could it happen again? Your Audrey Dickerber looks for answers.
The Army Corps of Engineers tells me it's not uncommon for them to lose power during a storm, meaning they lose control of the gates, but they do have backup plans in place, but those can only last for so long. Aging equipment can lead to problems.
I would probably say at least a dozen times a year, possibly more, we have issues with one line or the other.
Scott High with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says storms last week knocked out both power and communications to the dam, keeping the gates open and dropping water levels by 2.5 feet.
We got about 6 inches lower than we like it to ever get.
Leading them to run on a backup generator and equipment from decades ago.
It's a structure that was built in the 1930s. It's been mothballed and idled since the 1980s and had very, very little done to it. It's in terrible shape. The generator that's in there, the engine came from a Korean war era military vehicle.
But they recently received funding to fix 2 of the gates next fall and get a new generator next year, so this problem becomes less common.
We don't have a system on the dam that just tells us, hey, you've lost a phase of power. It just tells us whether we have power or not.
The Army Corps of Engineers tells me that they do watch the water levels in the dam very closely, but if you, your business, your boats, or your docks are impacted, to reach out. We'll have more information about how to do that on our website, WRDW.com. In Augusta, Audrey Kerber on your side.
Audrey, thank you for breaking down the effects of when that happens. Even though the Army Corps of Engineers do lose control of the dam, we're told it won't cause any excessive flooding.
A piece of history that's very important to the city of Augusta. Human trafficking is a problem that reaches every corner of the globe, even neighborhoods right here at home. You know, in Grovetown last week, police say a victim ran into the police department there pleading for help.
And a lot of neighbors told us they didn't know what was going on until we told them about it. Your City Hood is live from the newsroom. Sydney, that just goes to show this is a problem that is a lot closer than you might think.
Exactly, Zaina. Experts say many have this idea of human trafficking as someone getting taken by a stranger, and while they say that is a concern, most victims are trafficked by someone they know.
It happens across the board, and I think it is something that people are really not aware that is happening here.
In Georgia, the average victim is a 6th to 8th grade girl. That's according to the Attorney General's office. These numbers from the National Human Trafficking Hotline show there were 281 cases of human trafficking identified in Georgia in 2021, and there were more than 1,000 victims involved in these cases.
Child Enrichment says recently they are seeing more gang trafficking and family trafficking.
When I'm talking about gang-related trafficking, mostly I'm talking about teenagers who run away, and they might get involved in gang life and then get involved in sex trafficking. Family trafficking would be more of where a parent is oftentimes selling their child in exchange for drugs or money.
And numbers show human trafficking is also a problem in South Carolina. In 2023, SLED reported opening 357 cases that included more than 500 potential victims. Most of them, they say, were minors. And then among the counties with the highest number of cases, Aiken County comes in at number 4 with 24 cases in 2023.
It's everybody's responsibility to protect kids and teenagers. So educating ourselves and then taking action when we have concerns.
Child Enrichment says they host training to educate people on the issue, and you can sign up if you'd like. You can either visit their website or you can call them directly to sign up. We'll have information on how to do that all on our website, WRDW.com.
Sydney, thanks for following this. Such a sad situation to see increasing in our area, but there are resources, so thank you for shining a light on that.
And speaking of resources, if you're a victim or if you see someone who might be, here's the number to call: 888-373-7888, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can get help in 200 languages. You can also submit an online tip at humantraffickingonline.org.
Get ready to see those big yellow buses back on the road. Today, the Columbia County School District had their inspection safety check to make sure they're all good before picking your child up. School leaders say now is a great time to be extra alert while driving or in the car pickup line.
No one wants to have a tragedy of any kind for any reason, but it's just a good time for us to remind everyone to slow down, put the cell phone away, and pay extra attention.
Good reminders, and we are just 1 week away from the first day of school in Columbia County. Parents, high school, and middle school open houses will be tomorrow, with high school from 3 to 5 o'clock and middle school from 5 to 7. And on Thursday from 5 to 7, elementary schools will host their open house.
Fort Eisenhower getting a new commanding general.
New leadership taking reins at the Salvation Army in Aiken. Next, we show you how they're looking to fight growing numbers of homelessness in their community.
And we are tracking strong thunderstorms impacting areas near Jenkins County. Heads up in Millen, you got 50-mile-per-hour gusts heading your way. Have an update on radar and the rest of the week's outlook just after break.
Time and Temp, brought to you by your First Alert weather team.
Remember, the storm chances do look slightly lower Tuesday and Wednesday, but there still is the opportunity for some storms the next couple of days.
Thank you, Riley. We've told you about the rise in homelessness in Aiken. The Salvation Army shelter there is reaching capacity every night. With a growing need of people looking for a place to rest their heads, the Salvation Army of Aiken is working to bring those numbers down under new leadership. Captain Michael Good is new to the area, but not to the Salvation Army itself. His family once needed assistance.
My parents, it changed the course of their life radically, and they became Salvation Army officers, ministering in the same way that I do now.
Captain Good has been the commanding officer in Aiken for 1 month. He says the shelter has been at capacity each day for 2 years now.
We are seeing a rise in the amount of seniors that we serve. We're seeing a rise in the amount of individuals who have mental health concerns. We're seeing a rise in the amount of families that are coming to us for assistance.
He says they're pushing their Life Nav program, which partners their clients with a caseworker who takes a look into what brought them here to need help.
So it could be education, it could be budgeting, it could be even mental health. And so what we strive to do is to partner that individual with resources, whether internally or externally with other partner agencies, to help bring that individual to a point of self-sufficiency, rehousing them, as well as breaking cycles of poverty in their life.
They have a soup kitchen at their shelter which serves almost 200 meals daily. Robin Harden is from the area and spends her time giving back.
It's good that I can come here and still be around all the people that I was brought up around and help the homeless and the hungry.
They're looking for community partners to be a part of combating homelessness.
We are looking for individuals to partner with us to teach classes like budgeting, parenting skills, nutritional cooking, life skills that our individuals that reside here don't necessarily have.
And they are doing great things over there. The soup kitchen, 12 o'clock each day, and there was already a line forming before noon. The Salvation Army of Aiken has been around almost 100 years now, and they tell me they're in need of volunteers, food, and water.
And that's where you come in. You can learn much more about joining their effort on our website, WRDW.com. Coming up tonight in sports, the PGA season is winding down, and Aiken's Matt Neesmith is starting to heat up. Find out what's changed with the local golf pro. Coming up next.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
If there's a garden.
On your sideline.
The final weeks of the tour season are fast approaching, meaning there's only a few weeks left to play your best golf. Well, Aiken's Matt Neesmith has that covered. In a 3-week span, Neesmith has had 2 top 10 finishes. The first coming at the ISCO Championship, where he found himself in a playoff but fell to Harry Hogg. This past weekend at the 3M Open, he tied at 9th, going 12 under, 5 shots behind the leader. Between the 2 tournaments, he went 3 rounds with a single bogey or less. He's been putting in the work, and it's starting to pay off.
It's been really nice to see some putts finally go in the hole. I've been doing a lot of work with my swing coach, Gary Crescent, as well. And that's all kind of, so we're all kind of starting to tie that together, and it all seems to be kind of working all at the same time. So I feel like we've got a really good idea of what we're doing, and I'm just going to continue to do what I've been doing the last kind of 6, 7, 8 weeks, and it seems to be working out pretty well.
Neesmith currently sits inside the top 120 when it comes to FedEx Cup rankings. The top 70 make the playoffs. Team USA and Aiken's Boyd Martin will not medal at the Olympics. After the 3-day competition, the U.S. finished 7th in team standings with a score of 133.70. Martin and his horse, nicknamed Bruno, were the highest-ranked U.S. team members. They made it into the individual jumping final, where they finished 10th. That their score was a 32.10. This was Martin's 4th Olympics.
Alyssa, thanks for that. Tonight we're celebrating the future. Aiken Technical College holding their summer pinning ceremony for their nursing school. All that time studying and practicing finally coming full circle for these grads. The Dean of Nursing says she's happy to know this group will be helping fight a big issue in our medical field.
This means for me is security for our healthcare field. Right now, we know that we're facing certain shortages in several areas, whether it is registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, or patient care technicians, all across the healthcare arena. We know that we are in need of additional employees and graduates. So we are happy here at Aiken Technical College to say that we're going to add to our pool of nursing.
Congratulations to those graduates. Those grads recited the Florence Nightingale Pledge and also received a pin signifying their commitment to serving others.
Listen to this, a big congrats to Rena Humes. She's a senior at Aiken Scholars Academy. She's just been named the Distinguished Young Woman of South Carolina 2025 and will represent the state at the national finals next year. Humes is one of 50 representatives competing for more than $100,000 in cash scholarships and the opportunity to represent the program as the Distinguished Young Woman of America for 2025. Humes was awarded a $1,600 scholarship. The first runner-up is Ashley Luton, a senior at South Aiken High, and she took home a $700 scholarship. Riley?
Congratulations to them. They've been working hard for it for sure. We have been looking at some strong storms today, and now moving through Emmanuel and Jenkins County. Heads up Millen to Swainsboro. You have some gusts up to 50 miles per hour possible. Having a look at radar in that 7-8 just after the break.
Tickets can play today. Injured? Call Austin Jackson, the Augusta guy. Everybody's got a guy to help you move, fix your car, someone you can count on when it really matters. That's what makes them your guy. I'm attorney Austin Jackson, and I'm your guy in Augusta. I was born and raised in the CSRA, and I help people get the money they deserve when they've been hurt. So if you've been hurt in an accident, I'm your guy. Call Austin Jackson, the Augusta guy, 706-724-7224.
Remember, folks, if you are stepping out tonight, we are still tracking some rain here around Augusta. I would imagine it stays rain for us here in town, but there are some stronger storms near Millen and Swainsboro. That's where the severe weather should stay for the rest of tonight. Heading into tomorrow and Wednesday, we are bringing back some storm chances, just not quite as widespread as what we saw today. Those high temperatures will feel warmer, though, in the mid-90s.
Riley, thank you. Our next live update comes at the top of the hour over on 26 News.
And then we'll see you back on 12 at 11.
At the CBS 80 News, we focus on solutions, finding solutions to help people understand what are the right choices to make for you and your family.